Ah, man. Damn. So, Logic came out with his new album, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. And apparently, people have been pretty mixed on it. The thing that struck me in an odd way about this Logic album was this is the first time I was aware of a release that wasn't so heavily defended from his fan base. When I listen to everybody, when I listen to Young Sinatra 4, when I listen to Bobby Tarantino 2, and anything in between that, even his Supermarket album was like, niggas rode his dick for that one, man. And I just don't see them dick riding for this one. Like, this is the first time that I did a review for an artist and I looked at their project, and I looked at their album, and I was like, there's no way I'm not gonna get hate for this video. I do that for a lot of videos, knowing that I'm gonna get backlash, but I don't give a shit. You know, it's my opinion. But this was the first time that so many of his fans actually agreed with what I had to say, and not only with what I had to say, but a bunch of other people also came out and they were saying that they weren't Logic fans at all, and talked about their criticisms of the project. And his fan base seemed to completely concur with everything that everyone else was saying. And this was odd to me because it's the first time, like I said, that he hadn't been getting that defense, that hardcore backup from his hardcore fans. Now, we all know what the issues with the album were, but the backlash to this project that he might be receiving, I feel, would spark motivation for an album titled in this way. I felt like this type of response to an album would give him the motivation to create an album like the one he just created and released, Confessions from a Dangerous Mind, taking criticism and backlash from social media. So it's a little concerning to me because I don't know what he's gonna draw inspiration from on his next project. I'm still loving Mama slash Show Love, where Logic goes into talking about the lifespan of a rapper and how quickly it can all be taken away from you, and how the industry can build you up and tear you down, how people can misconstrue everything that you say but disregard everything good that you do. And he also offers himself up as kind of like a therapist to the rap game, saying that we don't have to hate each other. We're the only family we really have. I understand that whole message. That's one of the few songs in the album that I really enjoy, along with Confessions from a Dark Mind, the title track, The Dangerous Mind, and the Homicide track with Eminem, even though it's just another lyrical spiritual warfare between the two MCs talking about how much better they are lyrically than everybody else in the rap game. I get it. But I was just shocked at how little content an album that was seemed so conceptually driven had. I mean, god damn, was this album just a letdown in terms of its built up idea. Really a Bobby Tarantino 2.5. It's an album that no one was expecting, but people were still disappointed by. And I don't mean that in the sense that they were disappointed because it was like a bad listen. I felt like this album didn't really have any eyes on it before Logic said anything about it. This album didn't have anybody going crazy before its release, but it still seemed rushed. It was the one album that I felt Logic by far filled his album with the most filler, and he unintentionally became the very same thing he used to rap about hating hearing from other rappers. This is when I say all time spent isn't time spent well. Logic on this album transformed into Steve Harvey, and we all know how much I hate Steve Harvey. If you didn't know, I hate Steve Harvey. This dude went from being at the bottom of the barrel, talking about how he used to scrape for home goods or whatever the fuck he was doing in his car, and getting to this point of success where the ideas that he had when he was younger or in that moment of desperation have completely abandoned him. Like, there's just nothing that this dude has to say that's like inspirational or motivational. It's all pretty stupid if you're coming from a realistic point of view. And when I look at Logic, I'm looking at the guy who went from this dude that was rapping about being in a gutter. I mean, Logic rapped from the perspective of a drug dealer, his brother, and made it hard on Under Pressure, man. That dude was giving it to people, to making an album about social media criticism. It just, you see the separation here. Like, the lifestyle can easily change people. It can change your priorities. I know you're no longer in that place, but when I look at Jay-Z and I look at some of the other greats, Yeah, they're not rapping about robbing people anymore. They're not rapping about, you know, taking people out the same way they used to, but they still have goals. They still have things that they want to accomplish. They still have drivers. They still have motivations. They still have things that get them out of bed in the morning and force them to put a lot of their work and the rest of their lives into this thing. I look at Jay-Z, and he went from a guy that was just trying to get out of his environment to a guy now trying to get out of the system. Like, Jay-Z has evolved so much, not only just musically, but idealistically. This dude is on a different level than he was years and years ago, and that's to be expected. But I feel just like Logic doesn't want anything anymore. I feel like this dude isn't motivated to do anything more because a lot of the dreams that he wanted to accomplish, like he said at the ending of that track, get money. That's it. I don't know. Y'all let me know how you're still feeling about the Confessions of a Dangerous Mind album from Logic. I appreciate dude, but I was shocked at the response that I got from Logic stans, because that was surprising for me. I didn't think that they would be so on board with everybody else that was criticizing the project. Next on this little mini docket that we got here is Ayesha Curry's comments about wanting attention as a married woman. Now, this isn't all that she said. I mean, of course, a lot of what she said was taken completely out of context. Me personally, do I have a problem with what she said? Not necessarily, but I do have issues, and I can see what people are saying was wrong with what she said. The groupie comment, I get it. You don't want people all over your man. If people don't remember that incident that happened years ago when this chick was on the sideline making mad eyes at Steph Curry and cheering him on, I think while his wife was at the game. I'm not sure if she was at the game, but I remember when that thing happened a long time ago and people were going crazy over that. That was funny, but I understood why she didn't like it. Now, Ayesha Curry is not crazy for how she feels. I understand that. I just feel like Ayesha Curry is coming from the point of view of a woman that's a housewife. Like, these aren't thoughts that come from the mind of a woman that's doing enough, to me. If a woman is doing enough, I mean, sure, she dolls herself up, she gets certain things done, but I don't really think she gives too much of a shit if she's busy and she's got enough things keeping her attention to care about the attention of really anyone. But let's say she's in that space, right? Ayesha Curry, I'm not gonna say is unattractive or anything. I'm just saying she's not desirable. She's not marketable. She's a housewife. She's the mother of Steph Curry's kids, and she makes cookbooks. That's nothing wrong with that, but that doesn't make you the top spot on a guy's docket. You got a woman like Beyonce, who we knew well before she was just Jay-Z's wife and she was just the mother of Blue Ivy. Beyonce was marketed as a woman who was a performer, a musician, a singer, and also a sex icon, a sex symbol for a long, long time. So even after she had her baby, even after the marriage to Jay-Z, people were still looking at her as like one of the sex goddesses, because that's how she was marketed prior to even meeting him in the first place. She already had a resume. She already had a rap sheet before she got to her marriage. No one really knows anything about Ayesha Curry other than the fact that she's Steph Curry's squeeze. Not only that, but Ayesha Curry not long ago came out and said that she didn't want to be portrayed a certain way that would give people that impression of her in the first place, which is respectable, but might not necessarily be desirable. Well, I get that Ayesha Curry was trying to be honest and have this moment of introspection and transparency with the people that she was on this panel with. I can't necessarily say I agree with her in some way unintentionally prioritizing the attraction of people that she isn't even married to. I mean, the only person you need to make sure you're physically attracting is Steph Curry. Not to say that you only want to be wanted by this one man, because I mean that's crazy. I get it, but it's to say that if no one else wanted you, you should still be okay with just this one man wanting you. Now, to sum up my comment, I don't really think that just because something is common, that means that something is right. People can say it's common for you to experience depression at some point in your life. That doesn't mean that depression is right. It's just something that is common. It's something that happens. The common cold is something that happens. No one wants it, but it happens. I think that people are so deep into being transparent with the world that they don't know what to keep private and what to say in public. And Her saying this thing in public to me just expresses weakness in their relationship. And Curry coming out to defend what she said was a great move as a husband, just in support, but doesn't cover up the weakness that it showed from the beginning. A lot of people will call her comments strength, but in reality, I think it acts as just a shroud to cover her lack of fulfillment. What's gonna happen if these people don't give you any more attention? What's gonna happen if those women that were telling you, oh, they're looking, didn't tell you, oh, they're looking? What would you do then? If other men really weren't if there were no other man in the world that wanted you except the man that you were with, would you be okay with that? And if the answer is or okay or maybe, that's a little weird. That's odd. Looking at what she said seems normal. Her tying it into the mental health thing and her response to the backlash she got for her comments is not. Just because we live in a society where it feels good to be wanted by tons of people doesn't mean that, like I said, that's okay. Society makes a lot of things seem normal that aren't necessarily okay or good for you or quote unquote right. And last but not least, Migos is coming out with a new album, and honestly, not too psyched about it. Migos Culture One was great album. I enjoyed it. One of my top releases of 2017. I really enjoyed that project. Came out January, I believe, right? Cool. Then Culture 2 came out. Shit was ass. However, the thing that's giving me pause about this album is they asked their fan base to name it. Like, if you could name it, what would you name it? And for me, giving your fan base that much direction or control over the name of your album, to me, if we're talking in the context of Migos, shows me that there is no artistic motivation or direction in this album whatsoever. It to me says you've been making the same type of music on this album that you made on Culture 2 and on Culture 1, and there's going to be no change, no growth, no evolution if you're allowing others to come in and tell you what the name of your album would be. Any artist that puts in tons of work, tons of effort, tons of time is not allowing anybody, regardless of the size of their fan base, to come up with a name for their project. That to me let me know right then and there they on some bullshit again. Now don't get me wrong, I like Migos. I want them to succeed. I want them to drop some good material and some great projects, but their rollouts, it just seems though, it just looks like they don't give a shit. They all dropped solo projects in the same year that they dropped their group project, Culture 2. Well, Offset came out with his a little bit later, but he still finished recording it in 2018, definitely. And now the next year, we're already getting another album. Like, it lets me know that there's not going to be anything new. There's not going to be anything crazy. I get it, based off how they stand in hip-hop, they don't need to do anything new. They've made a lot of money, but it'd be nice for the people that you support sometimes to at least look like they care about the shit that they're putting out. And I'm not saying they didn't put any time and effort into this project just because I want to say it. I mean, this is coming from the group themselves that have admitted to making songs in 20 minutes. I think we all have a reason to be concerned. That being said, I'm not looking forward to the next Migos album. I just don't need it. I don't. Big keep. But that's been me. It's been real. Thank you for watching. This has been another episode of the Wrap It Up series, and I'll see y'all next time I'm out. Have a great day, and do not get yourself an Ayesha Curry. Bye.